Hey everyone, now that we're ready to get started, let's just start building the app. In FlutterFlow, when we create a new project, it's going to ask for a name and a template, and we are going to just create it from scratch, and we'll bring in a few page templates as we build, but part of the setup is some quick connect settings for Firebase. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to switch over to the Firebase console and set that up first, and we'll then come back to FlutterFlow to connect those. So we're going to switch over to the Firebase console, and we're going to add a new project. We'll just call this Flutter Member. You can use Google Analytics if you're going to go ahead and set this up as an app you're going to put in production. I'm going to just disable this for now for testing. Takes just a second for it to create the membership or the membership application in Firebase. All right, then it takes us into the project, and we are going to, you can look at this Flutter stuff here. It isn't really necessary if you are building this through FlutterFlow. If you're building this in Flutter directly, you'll need to do the steps that they gave you there. For the project itself, we're going to go to the little settings and go to project settings so we can get our project ID. And then we will need to come back over to FlutterFlow, and we'll just call this Flutter Member and create new under blank app. This is fine for the test here, and we are going to set up Firebase with it. The Firebase project ID we are going to get from right here. We'll copy and paste that in. And we do want to enable authentication, and we do want to use the user collection. We do not have to do this, but I'm just going to use it in a user's collection to make it easier. As we haven't created any pages yet, we don't have any initial pages to set, so we'll hit start building. To start with, I'm going to go ahead and set up a few pages here. It wanted an entry page and a login page to associate with the app before we could really do much. So we're going to go ahead and do new page. And for authentication templates, we're going to do this onboarding for template. Maybe. Oh, I need to name it. Entry. Once we have this here, I'm just going to go ahead and change the title of this page to entry for the demo. And you can edit some of this content. Right now I'm just going to leave this here and we'll come back to it. I will then create a login page. We'll call it login. And we'll scroll down here to this FF login page. And the next thing we're going to do is make a create account page. So I'm just going to call it register. And under auth, again, we will go to this FF register page. All right, so now we have these three pages here, and we can go ahead and link these up both to each other and to the app for pages. So we're going to go into settings, and under app details, we have the entry page. We will put that to entry, and the logged in page, this is the page that they will be taken to once they are logged in. So we'll just make that the home page for now, and then we will go back to our pages, and this is that home page. So on entry, we're going to take the login button we are going to go to the Actions tab, Add Action, navigate to Login. On the Register button, we're going to go to Actions, Add Action, navigate to Register. On the Login page, we are going to fix the typo in this password box so it doesn't say email. Enter your password here. On the Login button, we're going to go to Actions, and we are going to change. Actually, this is already connected here. This one's auth login. The provider is by email, and it's the email address and password. We are going to not use social in this demo, so I'm going to delete the rows that contain the social items, and we will just leave these here. The login does the login. This create account, I'm going to just change that to say register. Go to Actions, Add Action, and navigate to Register. If they don't have an account, they can click the Register button and it'll take them back to the Register page. On the Register page, we are going to update the password fields to again have the word password in it instead of email. The Create Account, we are going to go to the Actions, and you'll see here it says Create Account, Email, Email Address, Password, Password Confirmed, and Create User Document. That's fine. Again, I'm going to delete the social sections because we're not going to be using those. And last, at this Login button, we're going to add an action, navigate to Login. At this point, each of the pages are connected to each other. The home page is here. When they log into when they first open the app, you'll be taken to this page, and you can click either of these buttons to go to the login or register page, enter your information, and be taken to the home page when you log in that has nothing. We do have some errors showing up here, and they are some various things here related to the template that we used for these pages. These templates have some conditional visibility set to for light mode or dark mode depending on how you're using in the app. As we're not really concerned with that in this demo, I'm going to delete the hidden pieces. This one has a dark mode item, and then this one I'm just going to turn off conditional visibility. I'm going to switch back to this next error, which is on the register page. Delete this invisible thing and turn off conditional visibility. And then the rest of these are related to Firebase. And when we click on it, it is still waiting on further Firebase config. So I'm going to paste the project ID again in here and hit connect. FlutterFlow does not have access to this Firebase account. So what we have to do is we have to actually add this email address that they provide as a user in Firebase. And it says firebase@flutterflow.io. And so what we're going to do is, in your project, still under settings, we're going to go to users and permissions. We're going to add member, and it was firebase@flutterflow.io, and it wanted us to make it an editor. Done, add. Once we have done that, we can now paste this same project ID here again if it's gone, and hit connect. It is now connected, and we can hit auto generate config. As this is a test, we'll just leave the defaults and not worry about those. And your demo will work with these. Whatever the defaults are, you'll still be able to build and run the app in the run mode in FlutterFlow. Of course, you'll want to use your real information if you change any of it. Okay, so now we are connected to Firebase, and we have a warning about the rules not being deployed. So we can click on that and deploy our rules to Firebase. And this says we need to create the Cloud Firestore database. In here, we're going to go to the Build menu in Firebase and click Firestore Database. Create database. And we'll just do test mode. I'm in US Central. And this sets up some default rules here in Firebase. For testing, you can change this if you want, otherwise you can just let FlutterFlow manage it. I'm going to hit deploy in FlutterFlow now. Refresh this page. It was not deployed. Deploy now. Okay, now that that's completed, we no longer have any errors, and we're ready to start building out the pages of the app. I'm going to go ahead and stop there, and we'll come back in the next one and start building some of the pages.